Brutalism, a style of architecture used especially in the 1950s and 60s that uses large concrete blocks, steel, etc. and is sometimes considered ugly and unpleasant. Right on the spot, Oxford Learners Dictionary.com, I don't like it either. You see, I'm much more inclined towards fine arts myself. Yeah, brutalism sucks! It smells like the Soviet Union, doesn't it? If that's your guess, then please have your nose checked. This is actually from the UK. Way to go, England! From Shakespeare and tea parties to the Big Ben and the Beatles. And now, tiny windows. Great, you just ruined the party. What is this for? Are you afraid an archer will shoot an arrow and kill the queen or something? Who hurt your feelings so bad that you thought this was okay? Come on, England, cheer up. You can do better. Oh! Right, the Nazis did. The Second World War wiped out the city of London, wrecked the economy and left hundreds of thousands of homeless. Plus loads of people were moving to the city looking for a better life. So tons of folks, not enough houses. Was there a cheaper, easier way than just dropping a big block of concrete and calling it an apartment? No. Sadly, no. Besides giving people a place to live, they just took up so much space and they had this crazy ability to make every neighborhood they popped into look completely out of charm. And somehow they just spread. Crazy fast. Like herpes. And it was not just to the rest of the Western Europe and Soviet Union, but also to the US and Brazil and India and Japan, Australia, South Korea, Canada, Israel, Mexico, Singapore, Malaysia, Turkey. You get the point. But lucky us, some of them just went kaput all by themselves. But that wasn't the norm. The norm was a chunky, super heavy building that was tough to demolish, even with dynamite. And C4. It wasn't just apartment buildings. There was also massive hospitals, town halls and schools and libraries, all made of concrete, showcasing stuff, merely materials, and its tiny windows. It's freaking tiny windows! There was no time for decoration and fussiness. You want a house? Here's a house. Simple as that. At the end of the day, they were just honest buildings. If you happen to find the price of the concrete, you could kinda figure out the cost of the building. Without all the extras, of course. And it was this mix of doing the right thing and being practical that made brutalism so popular, especially in socialist and communist countries. Fancy old styles started to look like they were just for the rich. Ooh. While concrete emphasized equality. Yay. Because they were all equally bad. Even though it was built with good intentions, its ugly and grumpy appearance was never anyone's favorite. This is not one of those cases where you look back and wonder, how was avocado green appliances considered pretty? What's the thing with the 70s and bad taste? Brutalism was never seen as appealing. The Boston City Hall had thousands of people petitioning for it to be demolished even before it was finished. But petitions are like a sticky note. Graffiti? Now that's a public announcement. Its white flat walls were perfect for graffitis, and its massive structures with dozens of corridors and exits became ideal for crime too. Brutalism was now a sign of urban decay. And a sign of authoritarianism due to its imposing and oppressive structures. I mean, it's the architect's fault for making them look so threatening. Look at the Moise Bunker in Berlin. It's evil. Or the Hotel of Doom in North Korea. Evil. Embassy of Russia in Havana. Super evil. Russian Academy of Science in Moscow. Probably where the nuclear bombs are stored. Robert's Library in Toronto. Evil. The inside of St. Mary's Cathedral in Tokyo. Ultra freaking evil. Had some red lights and a coffin, and it turned into Dracula's castle. Concrete could have been used without making it so unwelcoming. When the big cities realized the mess they had made, the style had already taken roots everywhere. At the time it made sense, yes. But now what? You can't hide it, nor adapt it. We're stuck with an ugly block. Yeah, just move. And for all its die-hard fans out there, I have something to say. I get why you like it. You like it because they seem to be auditioning for the next dystopian blockbuster. But just in the same way that we all enjoy watching zombies, they look cool in movies, but you don't want a zombie apocalypse in real life. Right? It's true that the cold and distant vibe of the Brutalist buildings give the perfect aesthetic for a fantasy dystopian world. But come on, you don't live in a dystopian world. We should strive to make the places around us as friendly and inspiring as they can be. I want to be shocked by the divinity of Milan Cathedral, not puzzled by the weird Velázquez Tower just half a mile away. Sure, it did the job. Post-war Europe was broke. People needed housing quickly, and brutalism was the right answer economically and ethically. But there was a big missed opportunity to redesign Europe the right way. If there was a big red button that could blast all the brutalist buildings into space, I would not press it. They're part of our history, and people live there. It's cruel and immature to even think about it. On a sunny day, the ground would start to shake. And one by one, the concrete buildings would decollate into space. Zoom past the stratosphere and even leave the solar system, where they would all explode in a single blast, creating the best fireworks anyone has ever seen. The charming and beautiful places would not just be stuck to old towns, but would spread for miles and miles. Thousands of years of passionate architecture will not be forgotten. Let's create with heart and soul, not just with concrete and absurdly tiny windows.